So this is basically the GitHub site, and this is my account, and I have few repositories created for myself. So ignore those. So just set up your GitHub account. It's very simple. You need to just sign up, provide a password, and you're already into the account. Once you are done with that, we can follow with the following steps. So first thing जो हम लोग करने वाले हैं कि इस CLI को इस कमांड लाइन एनवायरनमेंट गिट बेस्ट को हम लोग पहले इंस्टॉल करेंगे अपने सिस्टम में. तो मेरा विंडोज सिस्टम है एंड I have 64 OSM architecture, so I will download this setup. So we'll be installing Git now in our system. So we'll keep it in C drive. Just do next. Let Git decide. We will be using third-party software for command line. Just do next. Open bundle SSH next. For this, we will change this option. We will use the OpenSSL library. Next. This is the terminal emulator that we'll be using. Next. Fast forward and merge next. Just keep the things as they are set up. So Git will automatically install in our system. And we will launch Git. So Git is ready. Next thing we will do is create a folder, mkdir, and let's name it first one. And let's name it first one. So here we have created the folder. अगर आपको folder नहीं मिल रहा है तो you can simply go to this PC, C drive, users, your name, whatever you have set up, and here you can find the folder. So we are inside the folder, and we will clone our full Git repo here. So I have signed in, and we will do some basic things on Git. So first thing we'll be doing is forking the repository. Forking is basically taking that repo means having that repo for your own account, and you can basically create a branch out of it. उस पर आप change कर सकते हो, and you can push it later. You can see this option, and we'll let the repository name. So मैंने इसको fork कर दिया है, तो इसका एक copy मेरा अपना account में बन गया है. As you can see here, मेरे 4 repo थे, अभी 5 हो गया है, और ये देखो first contribution यहाँ पर आ गया है, एक copy हो गया है मेरे repo list. Next thing we want to do is clone this repository. So आपको इधर code पे जाना है. We'll do this HTTPS cloning and URL cloning. So we'll copy this, and the next thing we'll do is go to git bash, git clone, and you can do shift insert or simply right click and paste. So we have successfully cloned our repo. अगर आपको confirm करना है तो आप इधर फिर से उसी folder में जाइए, first con, and you can see ये जो repo आ गया है, तो यहाँ पर आपको मिल जाएगा, ये क्लोन हो गया है. तो ये जो .git फोल्डर है ये हिडन रहता है, मेरा हिडन नहीं है, तो आपको ये दिखेगा. So this .git folder is what tracks whatever changes you are doing. This is basically the thing for version control. ये सब रिकॉर्ड करता है. So the next thing we'll be doing is we want to go inside this folder. So what we will do is cd again, and you can simply click on tab and तो आपको दिखेगा कि अभी ये फर्स्ट कॉन्ट एंड उसके अंदर ये फर्स्ट कॉन्ट और इसके अंदर फर्स्ट contributions and here. So my pointer is currently here for this, and this is saying main branch. So you can see here that there is only one branch showing, so main branch. तो Git का सबसे बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस द प्रैक्टिस जो सब जगह करता है कि मेन ब्रांच इज एज द नेम सजेस्ट दिस इज द मेन ब्रांच. जब भी हम कोई चेंजेस करना चाहते हैं हमने जो अपने सिस्टम में क्लोन किया वी ऑलवेज वांट टू मेक श्योर दैट वी आर doing changes on a separate branch. We'll simply follow this step for creating a branch. And let's name it my. तो अभी देखो इधर मेरा ब्रांच चेंज हो गया है. नाउ दिस इज the branch name that I just gave. So once you have created a separate branch, next thing we want to do is the changes, make necessary changes, and then we will commit the changes. So to make necessary changes, तो आपको इधर दिखेगा कि बहुत सारा files है. So let's say there is this contributors file. तो अभी इधर हमको अपना नाम ऐड करेंगे. आप इधर नाम ऐड कर सकते हो. I'll be adding my name. And सेव दैट फाइल. आफ्टर मैंने जो चेंज किया फाइल में वो उसके बाद कंट्रोल एस करके आप सेव कर सकते हो. सेव करने के बाद आपको इधर दिखेगा गिट स्टेटस में कि एक फाइल मॉडिफाइड किया गया है. तो हमने जो गिट रिपो है उधर एक फाइल मॉडिफाइड किया गया है. मैंने अपना नाम ऐड किया है. नाउ वी वांट टू मेक श्योर दैट दिस इज करेंटली पुश्ड टू मीन्स मैंने जो चेंज किया है ये सबको अवेलेबल होना चाहिए. सो वी विल follow the proceeding step. So for that, we will do git add. If you do dot is suppose your मैंने 15-20 फाइलें चेंज किया है और मेरे को पता है कि मैंने जो जितना फाइलें चेंज किया है वो सब जाना चाहिए मेन ब्रांच में. मीन्स वो सब. So for that we can do git add dot, or we can simply choose which files that I changed should be available to everyone. So we'll simply copy this. मैंने इस फाइल को चेंज किया है. So we can copy that or copy. So this is currently added. How do you know that this is now staged or added to the latest? You can simply do another git status and see that this is now turned green. This means मैंने जो फाइल चेंज किया है वो अभी स्टेजिंग एनवायरनमेंट में है. मतलब मैंने अभी तक इसको नहीं डाला, ऑनलाइन में नहीं दिया. मैंने इसको बस स्टेज किया ऑनलाइन में जाने से पहले. मैंने सब देख लिया ठीक ठाक है. मेरे को अभी इसको कमिट करना पड़ेगा. So what is committing? We'll get back to it. So committing is basically like taking a snapshot of your change that you done in this repo. Basically, we can say like having a little information about कब क्या चेंज किया, कितने बजे कौन क्या चेंज किया. सो बेसिकली एक स्नैपशॉट है ये जो रिकॉर्ड होता है डॉट गिट में कि इसने ये चेंज इधर किया. तो दैट इज बेसिकली दिस कमिट. एंड इन कमिट यू नीड टू प्रोवाइड ए मैसेज कि ये चेंज जो मैंने किया है ये चेंज क्या है. तो ये चेंज एज वी नो आई हैव जस्ट एडेड माय नेम हियर. वी विल राइट एडेड माय नेम इन contributor. And you can see here it is showing one file change and one insertion. मतलब मैंने एक ही line add किया था जहाँ पर मेरा नाम था और एक ही file change किया. So this is currently completed. So we have learned to make change and to commit. And next what we are going to do is push the changes to the branch. जो branch मैंने किया है इसमें push करना पड़ेगा. The branch name that I have is so I am facing some issues here. So what it is, I can't push currently. Permission to this is denied. So basically what is happening here is that मेरा जो गिट अभी सिस्टम में है वो दूसरे अकाउंट का है और मैं जो काम आपको दिखा रहा हूँ सो दिस इज फ्रॉम ए डिफरेंट अकाउंट सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज करंटली नॉट हैपनिंग. आप ये करके चेक कर सकते हो गेट कॉन्फ़िग डबल हाइफन लिस्ट करके आप चेक कर सकते हो. मेरा इधर देखिए आप यूजर नेम ये सेट किया गया है और यूजर डॉट ईमेल ये सेट किया गया है. तो ये मेरे को अभी पुश करने जा रहा हूँ तो मेरे को साइन इन करने को बोल रहा है सो विल डू दैट. इधर आपको आपका जो गिट जो अभी अकाउंट बना है तो उसके क्रेडेंशियल्स आपको देना पड़ेगा जब आप पुश करने जाओगे. तो यू कैन सी दैट नाउ द पुश हैज हैपेंड एंड ये रिमोट में चला गया है. तो लेट मी जस्ट गेट बैक टू द साइट. इधर आपको दिखेगा जो मेन साइट है जो लिंक मैंने आपके साथ शेयर किया है. आफ्टर पुशिंग यू कैन सी दैट देयर विल दिस ऑप्शन कम कंपेयर एंड पुल रिक्वेस्ट. तो हमको यही करना पड़ेगा कि अभी ये कंपेयर एंड पुल रिक्वेस्ट क्या करेगा. दिस विल लाइक रेज ए रिक्वेस्ट जो ये जो प्रोजेक्ट जो है इधर इसका जो मैनेजर है उसको जाएगा कि मैंने जो चेंज किया है वो अभी हमको मेन ब्रांच में मर्ज करना है. तो इसके लिए हमको कंपेयर एंड पुल रिक्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. सो एंड we will add a title. He added my name in contributors. Don't need any of this. And create pull request. तो ये देखिए इधर आपको merged मतलब ये merge हो चुका है. So if we go to again code and main branch and if we check the contributors.amd for my name, we can see that now my name is in the main branch. So this is what Git is about. And there are a lot of commands in Git you can add, you can remove, and you can also create files from Git bash, do a lot of stuff in Git bash. So these are the basic commands that we gone today, gone through today. So we have learned to push the changes and compare and pull request and then merge the changes. So this was all about forking, cloning, editing the file, then adding the file, then committing the file, and then finally merging the file to the main branch. So these are the steps that every big to small company is working on any kind of software development project. They do this on a regular basis. मैं सुबह जब काम करने बैठता हूँ तो अगर मेरा कोई पहले से ब्रांच क्रिएट होता है तो उस पर मैं काम करता हूँ और शाम को मैंने जो काम किया एक बार टेस्ट कर लेता हूँ कि सब काम कर रहा है कि नहीं, सब ठीक ठाक काम कर रहा है, एंड देन आई मर्ज इट टू द मेन ब्रांच ताकि वो सबको अवेलेबल हो, जिसको टेस्ट करना है वो टेस्ट करे, जिसको चीजें देखना है उसको चीजें देखे. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट गिट from a professional point of view. Git is more flexible, and Git is mainly created for this purpose, for using Git commands. And you can also use the Unix and Linux style tools here. And it's up to people who I barely use Git. I barely use Git for my daily work. I do all my work from, I'll show you in a moment. It's actually personal preference, but it's always good to know the basics. So if you work on VS Code or any other IDE, let's say Windsurf or Cursor or IntelliJ, whatever your choice. So or Eclipse, you always there is always option for doing Git in all these IDE. So here you can see the small icon. This is the Git section. So whatever I taught, we can simply, this is so simplified nowadays. You don't need to run any commands. Whatever changes I make, it will be all recorded here. Now this is Git add. Simply clicking on the add button. This is Git add. Now this is in the, you can see the changes are staged. These are in the staged changes, whatever we learned. And then committing, you can see the commit button, and we did commit with a message. So we can simply add the message, whatever you want, commit it, and then we can synchronize the changes from here by simply clicking on it, and it will push. So whatever commands I run showed you, I barely use that in my day-to-day coding. I just do it from the development environment. So it basically comes down to personal choice, whether you want to use Git or you can do it from here, which is very much easy to use. So as we discussed, so the software, this Git, this is a software, this is a one version control system that runs locally on your machine, correct? We have to install it. And this bash is that actual Git thing, the version control system. This is that thing. And what GitHub is, this is basically a cloud-based, you can say, a hosting type of platform. So for Git repo, this is basically a cloud where your whatever project you are, that is in the cloud. So this is a complete different thing, means the infrastructure, and this is just things to basically download from that cloud, from that GitHub cloud, and means do actions that's required in your day-to-day life. For that, this Git is required, and GitHub is basically that cloud where you want to keep your changes. For example, let's say you all use Microsoft Word, correct? So Microsoft Word stays in your system, correct? And it's installable. You install Microsoft Word, and you can run the Microsoft Word natively on your computer. But for the same thing you can see with like the Google Docs, right? It's the same thing, but it's a cloud thing. It's the same thing, but it's a cloud thing. You need to work on that. So you can think of it in a similar manner. You can use any sort of language. I mean, by language, if you mean the programming language, so GitHub supports mostly all kind of language. You can even store photos and videos in a GitHub and use it like Google Drive, but that is not actually the ideal way because Git loads things very slowly. So it is not dependent on any sort of language. You can use it for keeping your important documents or files. That's the thing. There is no limitations to any sort of language. in the project just I work, there is like 6 to 7 languages involved in one project. So there are no boundaries for languages here. Version control is a very important thing to add in your CV because this will be your like day-to-day thing, and people don't really want to. When you get into professional line of work, they expect to know all these things. Git clone is basically you are taking a copy of the repo to your own system, and Git pull is basically you have that copy of your own system. But let's say today I copied this thing, okay, and let's say tomorrow I am on leave. So definitely, if I'm on leave, all are not on leave. Somebody is going to work, and when they work tomorrow, they are going to push their changes to that. So day after tomorrow, when I come back, I want to have their changes, right? I don't want to work on that from day before yesterday's project. I want to work from the last change. So for that, I do a Git pull so that if any changes that I have that are not in my local, they will simply take the changes. So that's the main difference between Git clone and Git pull. GitHub account is basically for like a cloud-based platform. Like for doing any changes, you always will need to like take things from the cloud to your system, make the changes, and then again put it back in the cloud. So whether you use Git or if you mean by Git bash, so it's completely dependent on you. But behind the scenes, Git is always running. I'm doing this, whatever things, Git is always running on its own. So even if you don't want to use Git CLI, means the command line interface that I just showed you. So for day-to-day activities, even through your ID, you will be using Git. The risks, I would say, when you're publishing code by you means in a project, if you're working, you don't want to like push some broken code into the system that can like hamper a lot of things. So there are always procedures set up for different organizations. They want to make sure that before you push anything that is like tested by you, they want to make sure that everything will be perfect. In some cases, it can break, but you will be the one responsible for those things. So there are risks, but there is also responsibility related to some non-working files or Git history, which is because I didn't have to do this with local backup anytime. Means I just clone it and store it in my. That's the only backup we think of. Like when I clone it, it is already in my system. Like I can go offline and still work on it. So that's what we can say about backup. Like backup is like cloning it in your system. So even if the server goes down, the cloud goes down, I have that piece of code in my system, that thing in my system. So yeah, that is what backup is all about. Definitely is a size issue, but yeah, you can obviously get things set up for your project if you are hosting a project. So there is always paid subscription options and lots of things of setting up the pipelines and stuff. So for personal thing, I think there is a limitation to 1 or 2 GB, I suppose. And GitHub Action is basically it's a built-in, you can say, CI/CD, the continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline. So it's a workflow that also we follow in. So whenever I like do a change and push it to GitHub, so GitHub Actions take place. What happens is that when I push my changes to GitHub, a build is created through Jenkins. So that build is automatically triggered. I don't have to do anything. I just push my changes, it is merged, and the things this CI/CD takes place. The build is created, and I just need to deploy it to the respective server, be it Azure or AWS.